recording, and it begins in 3, 2, 1. Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to Core. Yeah, that's right. Video games done right. We're going to talk about games today, gaming news, gaming industry stuff, games we're playing. That's what we do here. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger. All three of us are here. Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Greetings. Hello.
Hello. We didn't do a show we did a show last week, but we did it on Friday because because I effed up Thursday, and then what did I do Thursday that I couldn't do the show? I don't remember now. There was something that came up.
I think you were...
Whatever my life is.
Oh, no, computer crapped out.
Oh, right. I lost a monitor. Yeah, in fact, it was this show I was setting up for, and I lost a monitor, and not only that, for some reason, monitors with all their extra parts and pieces, I think I talked about it last week a little bit, but it told my computer that there were other things wrong that weren't. And so troubleshooting, figured it out. Monitor's dead. It's now off in a recycled graveyard. Got another one in the mail as a replacement. Swallowed that bitter pill and said, oh, that's for business. Okay, I can do this. Brought it in. You guys are over there now on my cheap BenQ I ordered. Or Benk, or however you say it. How do you say those? Is it BenQ? I don't know.
I don't know. It's a terrible name, though.
It's really bad, right? They advertise on
I know
Twitch.
A rose by any other name would smell as sweet, but not BenQ.
No.
Like, they really weren't trying to win anybody with that name.
No. And I went super, entry level with this because I just need a secondary monitor for stuff. Nothing fancy. So it's cheap and works, and that's fine with me. You guys are on it. I look okay on it. Life is good, and we're back with a show with all damn three of us. But a collective congratulations from all the Core listeners and everybody to John for his fatherness. Well done, John. It's been how long now? How old is he? 2 weeks?
Yeah, he's 16 days, 16 or 17 days, a little over 2 weeks.
Jeez.
So,
all right.
Wow.
Already.
Grown up so fast, the little man.
Yep. Be in college.
Today he discovered fingers.
That's
That's his new thing.
Yeah.
He loves fingers.
Fingers are great. Especially his own, right? That's the ones he's into. He doesn't care about yours. So.
Yeah, although in lieu of being able to get to his own fingers, he will grab other people's and start bringing them to the mouth. He's he's like, we'll see. I'm not picky.
Yeah. It's like Bo. It's like pepperoni sticks in Canada. You just can't You just can't have one.
Finger pepperonis.
Yeah.
Fingerronis. Sounds delicious.
Well, all right.
Can I have a pack of them fingeronis, please?
Yeah, no kidding. They sound great, and I would eat a fingeroni if I had one right now. But sadly, I don't. Instead, I got video games to talk about. And we're going to start with a massive story. Oh, man. So that Microsoft deal where they paid $7.5 billion with a B dollars for Bethesda is officially through, past all regulators / I always think of them as underwriters, but whatever it is, all these committees have to make sure it's all on the up and up and blah, blah, blah. That all happened. Approval happened. And they are wasting no time to then reap the benefits of that happening. So Microsoft now owns them. They did get out a little bit in some interviews and actually say the words, the reason for this acquisition was to build amazing exclusive games to their service, meaning Xbox and PC, not PlayStation or other devices, potentially. Not all of it, but clearly some of it, or they wouldn't have said that. But here's the bigger news. This Bethesda train pulled in just in time to unload 20 don't want to get too excited.
Got a lot less impressive.
20 video games are getting dumped off the back of that truck and directly into Game Pass's veins tomorrow. Tomorrow, this is happening. So they've just been holding on this and waiting for all of the regulatory approval crap to go through and for the sale to be final. And they are going to dump the following games on everybody. All right. And so this is games basically across all of their IPs, including all their studios like id Software, Arcane, ZeniMax Media, Tango Gameworks, Machine Games, all those people. They are all now officially under the Xbox Games Studios banner. And here are the games that will show up tomorrow. Dishonored Definitive Edition, Dishonored 2. That game's great, by the way, Dishonored 2. Highly recommend it. 1993's Doom, so the original Doom, Doom 2, again, PC and Xbox is where all this is going to go. Doom 64, a much underappreciated version of Doom. It's great. It's very good.
Yeah, I just love that it's still called 64. I know why it is, but it just seems funny. We're putting it on Xbox and PC.
Yep.
Doom 64, everybody.
Yep. And by the way, all this stuff is either already on or recently on Steam, and will stay there too. So the PC side seems to be same. It appears to be the same philosophy across the PC ecosystem, where they're like, all right, if these games play on PC, we're gonna have them on Game Pass. They'll be available on our store if they don't want to do Game Pass, but we'll also put it on Steam and where appropriate, Epic and things like that. And so that's true here as well. So when they say exclusives, even if they're talking about this stuff, which I guess technically they can't because this is all games that have already existed. But no matter what on the PC side, it sounds like Steam will get a version of the games we're talking about. That seems clear. Anyway, to keep moving here, Doom 3, 2004's Doom 3, a controversial game.
Yep.
As to whether it's good or not.
It's not good.
It's not.
It's very good. Very good.
It's bad. It's a bad game.
I land between you guys. So John hates it, Bo likes it. I feel like there are things in it, and there's stuff that engine did in 04 that blew my mind, but I can't say it's the best Doom game by any stretch.
I think if you play Doom 3 to the moment everything goes wrong, maybe a little past so you get to at least shoot a gun.
Yeah.
You have completed everything you need to do to see and appreciate that game. It has a very cool world building atmosphere. It's got a very cool Half-Life opening where you're a dude going to work. Lots of cool like interaction with mini menu things. It has one of the coolest like, oh no, we've unleashed hell kind of moments in a Doom game. That stuff's awesome.
Right.
Watching the dude next to you go, and he turns into a demon and then you have to kill him. Like, that's all cool. After that moment, that game immediately goes downhill when the guy couldn't figure out how does flashlight and gun work. I can't do it.
They had a mod though, right? You could put the mod on there and you could
you could.
In the expat, the DLC has it so that the gun is on the flashlight, and I think they eventually patched it or something. But
oh, that's right. I'm remembering that now. There was a patch where they just basically threw up their hands and said, "Fine, this tense mechanic we were trying to put in for survival horror, we'll take it out, I guess, and just make it default that the gun."
I think what I appreciated the most about Doom 3 was that it doesn't have a soundtrack really. Like most of the game is soundtrack free, if I'm remembering correctly. There's a lot of engines and things whirring. I liked it.
Very, very atmospheric. You're right.
Yeah, controversial for sure, I guess.
Yeah. I felt like Doom 3, the Dead Space games felt like Doom 3 sequels to me, in that they took a lot of those concepts and the sort of space horror stuff and then moved all that part of that game forward, even though they're nothing to do with each other, different developers, different publishers. But those Dead Space games for me were like, oh, that's Doom 3 the way I like it. Like a more fleshed out experience. There's real progression in this. Like it's more than what Doom 3 was. Doom 3 by itself, like you both said, they had some ideas. Maybe it petered out a little early for some.
The second half, though, is pretty action-based, and the expansion they had for it was pretty action-based, too. I don't know. I think that first half feels very moody, but it just changes as the game goes on.
Gotcha. Doom Eternal is also on this list. I don't know why the Doom 2016 isn't. I think it's because it already is. I think that's already on Game Pass as part of a prior agreement, so that's why that's not on this list.
I think you're right.
Because I've seen it on there. I thought Eternal was, too, so this list confused me a little bit. But anyway... let's see. We move out of Doom. We move into Fallout. We got Fallout New Vegas, which is that's the version of the game with everything like DLC and all the bonus crap, and it's the full meal deal.
Interestingly, not on PC Game Pass.
Oh, is that true? That's only Xbox? Weird.
Because everyone owns it.
Two weird omissions on PC.
Yeah. Oh, is that why?
Steam, it's always on sale for $3.
Yeah, you can't have your permanent $2 sale game just show up on PC suddenly for free. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird, but anyway, that's there. New Vegas is my favorite. If I had my way, now that Obsidian and Bethesda are both owned by the same company, and Microsoft has massive amounts of deep pockets, I would love it if they just said, hey, I came in the office one day. Hey, Obsidian, you guys go down the hall and just pretty up New Vegas, make it look modern, but keep the game the same, and then put that on Series X and PC, and people would love us forever. Like, I would play the shit out of that game again. And I know there are mods that do this now. Like, there's a bunch of community mods to make that game look grossly pretty. But I want it from, like, them. I want them to do it. This is never going to happen, but I'm just putting it out there that would be great. Let's see. Fallout 76, Steel Dawn, which apparently is in a way better place than it's been since forever. Prey, Rage 2, The Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind. Also, Rage 2 is on Game Pass already. So, it's, again, another one on this list that for why Doom 2016 isn't, I don't know. Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind. If you want to see a game that really looks like shit now, give that one a go. Whew, ugly.
Although another game with like crazy mod support. Have you seen how people can get that game to look these days? Like,
no. I'd love
it's
to.
crazy.
I'd love to see more of that. But I mean, well, on console, I guess we won't see that. But unless they do, well, there's rumors of mods coming too, by the way. That's the other thing that came out with this is talk of, the mod stores for these games like Skyrim and for Fallout 4. That's already part of, I believe, console play. But in theory, there's more coming, like more moddy stuff that you can personally mod and screw around with and then send to your Xbox. I don't know. There's some talk of that yesterday, and I should have written that link down, but I didn't. So we'll see.
I get embarrassed talking about Morrowind's graphics because I kind of famously, to some of my friends, said, how are they going to make graphics better than this? Look at these screenshots. And I was like, you can't get better than this. You can't get realer than real.
Yeah. And you were wrong. You were so wrong.
Now it looks bad.
Now
it just doesn't look good anymore. It looks like crap. Apparently you can't get realer than real.
Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of thing you want to be wrong about, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'd rather be wrong than right.
Yeah.
Can you guys explain to me?
To be wrong about.
Bo, you got to explain this to me because I saw you post this in our Slack earlier. Because Oblivion's on this list. Elder Scrolls 4.
We both
the greatest YouTube.
This
is a big recommend for everyone. I think I watched like 4 hours of this today.
I couldn't stop once I started it. I was like, I don't want to leave. Plus, it's live.
It's weirdly addictive.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So, what is it?
So if you want to find this, there's a live stream on YouTube called Oblivion NPC Dialogue -live stream by Whacked Out Entertainment.
Okay.
And I have no idea what the source video is, but it's basically this guy, Greg, and these vignettes of him kind of just doing things in life, like really the most basic things. It looks almost like maybe it was a language tutorial deal.
I think it must have been, right?
And he's speaking so his elocution is so deliberate.
Yeah.
And it's from I think the 80s. I think they identified it's from the 80s because at one point he's riding a unicycle and they ask him about it, and he's like he bought it in 1972, 15 years ago or something like that. Or they can date it based on a conversation in there to the 80s.
Yeah.
Somehow. And it's overlaid with Oblivion font. And even we're watching now, your athletic skill is increased because he's carrying groceries.
Yep.
It's just the most basic UI. It's not like done to perfection, like the health bars don't go down, but it's just hilarious and mesmerizing, especially with the Oblivion soundtrack. Like every time a vignette starts, that, when you've loaded from fast travel, that like sort of background music, very evocative from Oblivion starts, and it just makes it this mesmerizing thing. He talks like a crappy NPC from earlier era games where his eyes don't blink, and like a lot of video game NPCs from that era, like their eyes from like Oblivion, I don't remember if their eyes blink or not. Like it's really just strange. And
let me play some audio from it so people can hear what it sounds like, because it's on right now. This guy just helped load groceries into some lady's car. No, he's really tired.
Pay attention to the music most carefully. The music is what makes it.
Yeah, the music.
I don't think he's going to say anything. I think this is the end of a vignette.
It might be. Okay, here's a new one.
It'll switch soon.
Yeah. It's live, so I can't skip. But that's also been part of the problem is I haven't been able to quit because I know it's live and I'm going to miss something.
So this guy's channel actually has video versions of it. I think he's just.
Oh, is he just stringing these together?
Put them all together, and now. Oh, but the new one's going to start soon. So hang on.
All right, here it is.
There. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I'm paying bills.
Have you paid many bills this week?
Yes, I've paid a lot of bills this week. I paid the telephone bill on Monday, and I'm paying the electric and gas bills today.
That's it. That's the beginning.
What are you thinking about?
Then they move on to another one, and it just goes and goes. It's
And
really
it's
great.
the music. Like every time one starts, the music starts, and I feel like I've loaded up into a new, like, tavern or something. And every now and then, the music's something a little different from like a combat or from a different area. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one where I'm assuming his kids are fighting in the background. It's hilarious because they are
I haven't seen
just
that one.
doing over the top fighting moves, and it's playing the combat music from Oblivion, and it's just what's going on? They're fighting. They're brothers.
That's just
it's like,
amazing.
should we stop them? No, they're brothers. It's fine. It's just really good.
But what's funny about it is it's like right now they got 174 people is all watching. It's not even that many people. I don't think it's even that well known. It feels like the kind of thing that would explode if more people knew about it. And I can't stop. Like, I got to find out more. These origin videos, these have to be some kind of quick learning English, series of videos. They have to be. Right?
Yeah, I saw a behind the scenes from some DVD thing on YouTube as I kind of fell down the rabbit hole with this. And apparently it was a public access thing that he did to help try and teach English. And it ended up getting picked up and actually broadcast for a period of time. And I don't know. It's very interesting. They are cutting out bits and pieces, so there is a slightly more educational bit where it shows what words he's going to feature in the vignette.
Right.
But yeah, it's just this very strange thing that I feel like is just proof of alien life, because you watch it and you're just like, oh,
it's a
my
made
gosh,
at home
this is
thing, right?
otherworldly.
Like,
Oh,
like
yeah.
he made this at home with a buddy. Basically,
Yeah. It's him and some other guy yelling, and it's him with a home camera. I watched him fall. I watched him get out
clearly
of the pool.
no actor. Like,
Oh, yeah,
clearly
no.
like.
Yeah. I would love to. I mean, like, if this went viral, then you'd start to hear news cycles or news sites going, hey, we talked to the guy behind the crazy viral sensation or whatever. But, at 178 people, this isn't going to explode.
Yeah, but
But
it's been
it's
streaming since
amazing.
March 5th, and it's consistently been, I think, that amount of people for 6 days.
it's now a permanent.
Yesterday.
Watch this. Okay, here we go. Do one more.
What are you doing?
What did you say?
What are you doing?
Please say it again.
I said, what are you doing?
I can't hear you.
I've said it 2 times. I'm not going to say it again.
I think that's the whole interaction. That's it.
What is he doing? He's rifling through a bottle of pills? Like, it's kind of morbid.
It's worse. He's rifling through a little container of paper clips. Like, it's worse than that.
Oh, it's more benign. Like,
Yeah,
more...
it's even dumber. Oh, it's so weird. I'm gonna watch this and never stop because I think it's amazing. As long as they keep streaming.
I love this. I'm always laying on a sofa while watching TV. Look at the way he's sitting. It's just the weirdest arrangement of TV and couch I've ever seen.
Oh, it's my favorite thing. You've maybe pasted in our group for a long time. So thank you for this gift that just keeps
This is
giving.
a treasure. This is the find of the day.
It's really great. All right, to continue my list, you can also play Prey, Rage 2. I mentioned those. Oblivion, Skyrim, of course. Skyrim, yet again, available somewhere. The Elder Scrolls Online. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if my theory will happen, which is TSO ends up being not just free in its base form, but that game's just always getting updates, and it's part of Game Pass. And every expansion... Go ahead.
Interestingly enough, it is also a PC excluded one. It's the only other one that's not on the PC version of Game Pass.
Oh, weird. I'll play it on my couch, though. I'd be into that. I like that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's my favorite go-to second MMO still. When I'm not playing WoW, I drift back to ESO quite often. So even though I've got a lot of progress on the PC side, and I can only assume I can't move that around, I still wouldn't mind. I mean, if it was free and it came with Game Pass, I'd do that. I'd totally do that.
Yeah.
So there's that. You got The Evil Within. I played that. That's a pretty good horror game, by the way. It's made by the Resident Evil, original Resident Evil guy made that game. It's pretty good. I got only far enough to scream 20 times, and then I quit. So I didn't finish it. Yeah. John, this was like 2014, so it was before you and I were doing scary games together. That's when I would have probably played through, had you been there. Then we got Wolfenstein, The New Order, The Old Blood, and Youngblood. All of those. Youngblood being the least good of those three. But all of those available. So
is part 2 already on there, or is 2 is not on the list?
Yeah, 2's not on the list. I wonder why.
Because The Old Blood was like an extra standalone.
Oh, that's right. It
DLC
was
for New Order. So yeah, Wolf 2 is not on there.
It's interesting. There must be some technical limitation happening here with the Elder Scrolls games and their mobile streaming stuff. So xCloud support for all of these is here, except for Fallout New Vegas. Also not on PC, funny enough. Elder Scrolls, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and online, and Skyrim, those 3 are all on PC. Online not being there, which is hilarious. It's hilarious to me. But
it's probably because you don't need Xbox Game Pass to get it online on PC. Like, that makes sense.
I guess so. But then Morrowind and Oblivion not available on xCloud streaming to your phone or whatever device, but Skyrim is, and so is Elder Scrolls Online. So I don't know. It's a weird mishmash there. There must be some weird tech going on. But anyway, they just wasted no time. It's like, hey, 7.5 billion. Get off your, quit sitting on your hands. We're done here. Let's get these games out, and then let's start rolling in the new stuff. The one conversation I wanted to have real quick is they've got that that Oblivion game being worked on that looks, Obsidian, which looks a lot like Skyrim, called not Begone, Overgone, Gonzo. What's it called? Shit.
Obsidian is making one called Gonzo?
No, hold on. Obsidian.
Is it Avowed?
Avowed. That's it. It's like a first person. I got a awesome looking flamey sword in this hand, and I'm making ice over here in this hand. It looks like, a Skyrimish style of RPG, first person RPG. Although, I
forgot about this.
They kind of made that with Outer Worlds as well, so it's not like that's that weird for them to make a first person thing. Plus, they made New Vegas back in the day for them. But anyway, my point is, I think Avowed looks awesome. Like, I really want to play it, and I love Obsidian RPGs. There's something about their brand of RPG that I like the most. And so now they own these 2 big developers. Is it redundant to make whatever Avowed is, but then also be making Elder Scrolls 6, whatever that is? I mean,
no, because I think there's going to be a lot of time between the 2 of those games.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, because isn't Starfinder, like, I sort of would assume Starfinder would come first, although I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
Or Starfield?
Starfield.
Yeah, that looks, that doesn't look like
Starfield and Odie.
Yeah. I think that game, Starfield's going to be their,
I get it.
Their gigantic in-space RPG that'll take on things like, the Mass Effect style game or whatever. I think that thing's going to be huge, and I also think they're going to make some announcement at some point that is exclusive to Xbox, Game Pass, and PC. I would not be surprised if they don't try to make that their flagship exclusivity title. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, those are so, it'd be crazy for them not to. There's such big tentpole deals. Like, why would they share it?
Yeah, you can't avoid
it's a chance to build a brand. Yeah. Like, if you all of a sudden come in and go, hey, the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which is literally a meme that it's on everything, the next game of that is only going to be on Microsoft games, I think then you do get a lot of flack of people going, well, why isn't it on everything? It should be on everything. But if you make a brand new IP, Starfield, it's very easy to go, well, this is a Xbox exclusive game.
Right.
And people don't have that lineage of, but it's always been on everything. Yeah. So I think you're right. I think that's a smart move as far as picking where your exclusives go, if that's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, players haven't even seen screenshots, really, not real ones that weren't supposedly leaked, of Starfield or anything to do with it. So we don't even have an expectation yet, other than it's the next big thing from Bethesda, and it's a giant space-based RPG, and that's all we know. So if there were videos out and they were already saying at E3 events or video events and going, yeah, coming to all the console, if they were already doing that kind of thing and then reversed, you'd be in trouble. But I don't think so. I'm very excited about whatever the hell that is, though. It may be terrible, who knows, but it may be great. So everyone relax, it's coming soon. Enough. What else? That's pretty much it with that. So I'm just excited to see what Game Pass looks like tomorrow. Their recently added is going to just blast everything that's sitting there now and shove them all down the list so you barely saw them if you didn't look at them over the last week. So maybe go check and see what's new on Game Pass right now before it becomes invisible because of the influx of Bethesda software. Any other thoughts about this? I mean, this makes sense to me. They were probably just waiting to pull the trigger. And now that this is all done, get the old catalog on there, start talking about new games coming,
Oh, some of them are already on there. I pulled it up because I wanted to see what was currently on Game Pass without
What's up there?
Before it hit, and some's already there. Old Blood, New Order, Skyrim, Oblivion, The Evil Within, Morrowind, Prey, Fallout 4, Doom 64, Doom 3, and Doom 2 already all on there.
Okay, so a couple not quite there, but most of it's already there. That's great. Don't even worry about tomorrow. Today is your day, everybody. If you're into this. I'm into the New Vegas side of things, and also my daughter's going to flip out because that was her favorite game of the 360 era was New Vegas, so she's going to lose her mind. She has an Xbox, and she's going to want to play this, so I'm going to let her know after the show tonight. In other news, Artifact is done. It is now literally an artifact of video game history. The free-to-play thing, it'll be free-to-play now. You used to have to pay for it. But that notably massive failure at Valve for competitive Hearthstone-style CCG card game with the creator of Magic and involved in everything, took a big dump, didn't go anywhere, and it's now just up there free to play. No more updates. They're done. So you can play it if you want, but they are supporting that game no longer. Is anyone surprised? Because I'm not at all.
No, I felt we had to talk about it just because we talked about it so much, and it's just interesting to see the flip side of the success. Big studio goes after the TCG market, and it's like, you know what, forget it.
Yeah, we're just out.
I feel like more and more these stories you're seeing less of somebody gets into a genre after the fact, after it's been well established, and just takes it over when it comes to competitive games. I feel like there was a time for that. Certainly you look at a game like World of Warcraft, it was by no means the first MMO. It came out well into the existence of MMOs and then just sort of took over. But I feel like that sort of story is becoming rarer and rarer, and it's becoming more a story of, hey, somebody struck while the iron was hot and, took over, and then everybody tried to chase it, and maybe one or two stuck around, but most of them flopped.
We are definitely in a place where that is less. You hear about it less. If it's happening, it's not happening in our view. Maybe it's happening in a more broad sense. Like now there are 5 new CCG Hearthstone clones coming out of China every day, and they're all on mobile. And so at this point, who cares? We've lost track, or MMOs on mobile, or any of that sort of thing. It's no longer like, well, I guess Riot just announced an MMO, and that is big news.
What, really?
Oh yeah, they're doing an MMO, but not based on League. Is it League?
It's not based on Blizzard IP. Well, that's huge.
Zing. No, I think it actually. I take that back. I think it is based on League. Crap. So this was announced a while ago via Greg Street on Twitter. He just said it one day and said, "Yeah, we're hiring for this MMO." And yes, Riot.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember that now.
So they're way early in this process. I don't think they're anywhere.
Yeah,
close to
I guess because
anything.
you look at it something like that and you're like, man, that might not even see the light of day. Like I imagine that's so early in the process that.
Oh, it's very early, but I think it will, and here's why: they basically hired Greg for this in 2014. This is what they hired him for.
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, they had to beef everything up, get other IPs out there, get that shooter done, get the card game done. Like all that stuff kind of happened under his watchful eye, and then finally get to a place where they're like, all right, we can start work on this MMO. Now, how far in there are, I don't know. I have no idea. He couldn't tell me if I asked, although I might ask to see what he says.
Probably aiming for a
make
new
him
generation.
say he can't tell you.
Yeah,
That's the way.
Yeah, I really want to know because it's at least interesting because they have the resources to do this and pull it off and make a splash because they've got a huge player base. But I don't know.
I don't know. I have faith in Greg. He's great. His era in WoW, was landmark for a lot of reasons. I have faith in him. I don't have faith in the IP. I don't think you've got a bunch of League people so deep entrenched in that lore that they're like, yeah, finally, I'm gonna explore the world.
Yeah.
Of these deep characters. Yeah. I don't know. I'm always a big critic of League. I don't know where my bias ends and me being realistic begins. I don't have faith that people can make an MMO anymore these days without like some really radical changes to what that is.
Yeah.
Even WoW isn't cutting it for me anymore.
Right.
And so as a result, it's kind of in an interesting place where saying we're doing an MMO comes with a lot of preconceptions, and I need to know how you're going to break those because I don't think it's a genre I'm interested in anymore.
Yeah, at least as it is currently presented, and it's really hard to break from that mold. So I don't know who breaks that mold, and I don't know that League is the one that does.
I think it's Roblox doing it.
Roblox, yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Well, in a lot of ways, I mean, in a lot of ways, that's Fortnite for a whole generation is that it's not an MMO, but it's progression and it's unlocks and it's a chat room and it's their social circles and it's huge events. Like it's kind of
ripped off a popular IP and capitalized off Lego.
Yeah,
I don't play it, but it looks like the Lego video game without the brand.
Roblox,
I don't care about.
I'm way more involved in Roblox than I wish I was. It is the most popular video game in this household by far, unfortunately. And basically, Roblox is kind of a platform. It's not really a game. You don't play Roblox. Roblox is like a community where they have created a bunch of rip-off, like knockoff games that you play within quote unquote Roblox. So for example, when Among Us was really popular, somebody went into Roblox and made Among Us in Roblox.
Yeah.
So that all these kids had a way to play Among Us.
Right.
But is there multi, like, do you log in and hang out with avatars?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
With people?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's like the MMO, there's MMORPG as a genre of what it is, and then there's just online multi-user dimension experiences.
Right.
Like, take it back to the mud terminology, but like you're online, you're hanging out with people. I think that's where that's what the MMO becomes in the future, that more instance-based like content, which is kind of like what you're saying. You can meet people in this world and then they can create things in the world and then just do the thing. And then you have these more precise experiences like TCGs and esports games and whatever else the future brings. Like, to me, the MMO concept was like, oh, you have this living world that's persistent all the time. And as it turns out, nobody has time to be in a persistent world because they have real life to deal with. Yeah. So it's a hard sell for a lot of people, right?
Sure. Plus, it all just feels like WoW clones because that model's been the best. So why people aren't going to deviate from that too much, or you will alienate new players or even existing players. There's a real hole. That whole thing has painted themselves into a bit of a corner. I'm looking at Roblox video right now because I've never really looked at this game much. I know this is enormously popular, like out of control popular with kids. How pissed are you at Lego if you see this happening and you realize that this was yours to lose? Like you effed up, Lego. Like I know
think a lot of people should be pissed at Roblox. Roblox is basically we stole your shit simulator. Like there are assets from other games. Like they full on take screenshots. Like it's the Wild West. Yeah. I don't know how Roblox has gotten to, like, if the kids go, and I've seen stuff like this, and they go, well, I hear the adults talking about Grand Theft Auto, so I'm going to search for Grand Theft Auto. It'll pop up in Roblox with the box art and everything, and they'll load in and play some bullshit Lego game that is nothing like it.
Yeah.
But then the kids run around going, I played Grand Theft Auto. And then the parents get in trouble, and it's like, no, we let them play Roblox. It's all we were letting them do.
Yeah.
It's kind of skeezy, but
it also
it
looks
is
like shit to me. It just looks so bad.
It looks like garbage.
Yeah.
It is absolutely awful. Every time one of the kids has shown me one of their avatars, I'm like, this looks like a pile of shit.
And they think they're
I'm glad you're proud of it, but
Yeah.
it looks like
They
shit.
think
But
it's
at the
awesome,
same
though.
time, because I don't know much about it, but I looked at it a little bit before the show today because there's that big headline about the sale or the stock valuation or something.
Yeah.
And like, there is a machinima movie that is an hour and a half long. It is poorly voice acted. It's all done in Roblox, so it doesn't even look good. Like, wow, machinima turfs it like any day of the week. It has 42 million views, and the comments are all like, "This is amazing," and I'm like, "This looks like utter garbage." Like, and I want to be supportive of fan made content, but like, I've seen tons better in the Blizzard camp alone.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, it must be children who really appreciate this kind of thing. Like,
It
it's
is
all I can.
Definitely a generational thing.
Mhm.
And it's the thing where, and I'm seeing it in the chat room, and it is true, it does a lot of good. Like, it's very easy for me to go, the graphics are shitty, what a weird community, they're just ripping stuff off, it's bad. But my wife's son has really struggled with reading and writing. Roblox has helped him immensely with that.
Yeah.
He's really struggled with socializing. Roblox has helped him immensely with that. Like, it genuinely does good. But it is this, like, it's scary as a parent too, though, because it's one of those things where it's like the all drug. Like, the kids aren't interested in 8 different video games. They're just interested in Roblox because they can play something that claims to be all 8 of those other video games that we would have been interested in as kids in that one place.
Yeah.
And then they come to you and they're like, well, we need Robux. And that's where they get you when they start asking for Robux, because that's when you put money into the thing and they get, fake dollars to spend on lousy looking avatar crap. We have a no Robux rule in this household because
Oh wow.
I
that's
know
a good idea.
I know a scam when I see it.
Yeah, you know what's up with this stuff.
Well, but do you think this potentially could age into, like, it looks crappy now, but by the time the kids playing it become adults, then Roblox becomes this more sophisticated thing?
I mean, I don't think you can
adults
avoid it. It's such a massive hit and such a massive platform that I think that that's guaranteed. I mean, whether they keep playing it or not is a good question, but it's like, Minecraft hasn't really diminished in popularity either, nor has it really gone anywhere in terms of, any kind of massive change. When your platform's this popular, I think it just exists and keeps existing. And
Just
like
printing money. Like, you hire people, keep putting content in it.
it becomes generational, it becomes cultural, becomes part of the culture and the fabric. And then people associate it with more than just, well, this is a game I played when I was a kid. They'll be nostalgic about it. There'll be people who want the original versus people who want to play the awesome new holographic whatever in their brain version.
Want to be on the classic Roblox server.
Right. There will be some of that.
Oh
and
my God.
they'll just repeat our mistakes. That's just the way the video game world goes. But boy, I'm looking at video and it sucks. It's just so
It's
shitty.
really bad though. Like, even I'm watching and I'm like, man, Minecraft is better than this. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
like, I'm like, because Minecraft is, at least there's some sort of aesthetic unity to the way everything appears. This looks like John said, like, just random stuff that just consistently looks shitty. Like, disproportionate, unaesthetically pleasing, and it's like it doesn't seem to matter.
In a weird way, it's like Blade Runner world. In that, I mean, like, fidelity doesn't matter. Zoom and enhance looks like shit. Everything that they look at in those movies are meant to look kind of janky and like it's about to fall apart, and you got to go find a part in the middle of new Tokyo, and it's all rainy, and you got to eat noodles, and like, for some reason, Roblox and stuff like this makes me think this isn't about cutting edge video card or cutting edge graphics, or obviously it isn't, but it's more about, look at this weird shit we're doing in here. Like, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's a weird thing.
It's community, it's zeitgeist. Like,
Yeah.
it's It's the thing that all the kids are talking about. We played Pogs when I was in elementary school. That's the shittiest game that ever existed. And you spend a bunch of money on stuff, and then your friends take it away because they stole all your Pogs, and it turns into a big fight in the schoolyard. What a stupid game. But everybody was playing it, so everybody did it.
Yep.
I had some cool Power Ranger Pogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's the same thing.
You're
it's
right.
just a part of it. It's a flash in the pan. It's something that they can all talk about. They can all interact on recess. And now, because they're all, doing school from home, it's a button click away. They're already in meetings with all their classmates, and they just go, "Hey guys, let's get in a different meeting and go play Roblox." Super easy.
Part of the reason it's so big is this isn't Lego. This isn't a branded thing. This isn't your parents' company they've known about since they were little kids. This is some other thing that parents don't quite get. You have to explain it to them. Even when they see it, they're like, "Oh, it's like Legos." No, Dad, it's not like Legos. It's not Legos. Like, I can just see how that works in their heads. There's a reason, like I say, it's their, it was Lego's fortune to miss. But at the same time, they would have had a harder time. They're a brand. They had an MMO going. They were trying to do Minecraft.
Lego couldn't rip off Grand Theft Auto. They got to pay license and royalty fees like a grown-up corporation does. And it sounds like that there's a lot of skeevy stuff going on here.
It's all very guerrilla to me, and a part of me is fascinated by that.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I just get mad because, I thought, okay, here's two kids that love video games. Like, that was kind of the bill of goods I was sold when I met the children of this household. And I was like, sweet, I like video games. We're going to get along like gangbusters. This is going to be awesome. And then it was like, hey, you guys like video games? They're like, we like a game, and it's the worst game ever, and you would rather stab yourself in the eye with a pencil than play it.
Yeah.
Shit. There goes any chance to interact with you. Because why does it have to be this game? Why can't it be any other game? I'll play Minecraft.
Yeah.
I'll play a lot of really bad games. Why does it have to be this one game?
Yeah.
When the time is right, you're going to show them something truly cool, and they're going to say goodbye to Roblox forever.
Yeah, they'll age out of it. They'll age out of
it.
I
did briefly get them into Burnout Paradise. That was a cool period of time.
Yeah, that's still that's a real. I'm looking at racing in Roblox right now, and this looks like a bad nightmare compared to an old racing game like Burnout
It's
Paradise.
what they got, Scott. The parents won't let them play GTA because there's adult stuff in it, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's part of it.
And every parent I know right now is dealing with some form of what John just described. If they're gamers or not, their kids just are completely obsessed with this. Their slightly older kids are obsessed with Fortnite still. Like, that is the zone. And the companies that hit the zone right are benefiting greatly from it. Whether this keeps existing, who knows? I don't know.
John, you're going to hit the Fortnite bump soon.
Oh,
I can't wait. I want to get them into Fortnite so they'll stop playing Roblox. I'll at least play Fortnite.
That's how much you hate Roblox. You'd be like, I'm willing to love Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will build a damn tower if you stop playing Roblox, please.
Yeah. It's just got a real, like, hey, 1997 call, and they want their shitty video game back. Look to it.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's really hard for me to watch after a while. Ugh, I can't imagine playing this or being forced to play it because your kids.
I couldn't imagine playing it even in an era where it would look amazing. It still looks bad. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we talked about it because these are the big top-down issues I like discussing on the show because I think they're super interesting for real. I really.
I mean, it made a major headline. Like, it sold for a whole bunch, and I'm like, what is Roblox? Who talks about nobody? And then I was like, who watches this Machinima movie 42 million times? Like. Did I miss something? And I'm like, clearly it's kid stuff.
And we're stupid, dude. We should be. And you're right. Artemis Tiger says, I love how 3 Gen Xers are crapping on a game made for young kids. Well, Bo and I maybe. I think John falls into the millennial category. It doesn't matter. Who cares about that?
Technically a millennial.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's made for young kids. I just want to throw that out.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why I'm shitting on it.
But here's the other thing. I don't even know that what we're doing is shitting on it. We're trying to understand it. We're also discussing it. It's a phenomenon. And of course, this is what happens. Older generations of gamers or of whatever foreign art, filmmakers, whatever, they're going to look at the current stuff and they're going to gauge it. This is us trying to gauge what the hell this is, and I don't think it's. I mean, there's obviously something to it. If there wasn't, it wouldn't be this monster hit worth billions. Like, there's no doubt about it. It's just
I'm literally learning what Roblox really is today. Like, and it's usually when it's a kids game, it's like for ages 3 and 7, or it kind of clearly looks like it's for kids. But this looks like, I mean, Minecraft isn't clearly for kids, right? Adults play that, but.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be mad at someone for mistaking it for a kid's game. And I just think I look at that and I'm like, oh, this is like Minecraft, and maybe it's for all ages. Maybe it's a phenomenon I missed. And I'm like, no, clearly it isn't. I just don't like that they don't display that quite prominently.
When will this get RTX support? That's what I want to know, because I can play Minecraft.
Yeah, Roblox RTX.
Yeah.
We need it. Where are you, Nvidia?
2000
Spiral
Roblox.
Shape in the chat, I think, really nails it. I'd probably love it if I was a young kid.
Oh, of
That's
course.
true.
Yeah.
I remember devoting an entire summer to some, I don't even remember what it was called, but it was like some basic 3D world type. You just floated around in the world, and it was a big AOL chat room with a 3D world to float around in.
Yeah.
It was nothing interesting. It looked 100 times worse than Roblox. It had way less to do. And I devoted an entire summer vacation to just floating around. In fact, they released a special world for the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie.
Oh my gosh.
And I spent days looking for Godzilla in the 3D world. He wasn't in it.
No.
There was no Godzilla to find. I just floated around looking for him.
Yep.
But they couldn't
Seems like it would
render
be
a
hard
big
to miss.
Godzilla.
It would be hard to miss.
But I was like, well, surely they didn't release a 3D Godzilla world where you can't see Godzilla.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
And
That's a fair
I was
point.
a dumb kid.
Yeah. And you're a kid and you don't care. To me, it's like this. Yes, this looks good to kids. You know what else looks good to kids? Tiny Toons, Muppet Babies, freaking Super Friends, if you want to go way back. Like, we think
I like all three things you just said.
I do too. But, well, Muppet Babies is pretty shitty if you look at it now. But I do too, because, again, looking through the eyes of a kid, everything's rad. I've been watching after streams in the morning. I've been watching Star Blazers, old Japanese 70s era Star Blazers episodes. When those were
Is that
on,
the one where they all had bird helmets?
no, you're thinking of G-Force. Star Blazers are the one with the giant. It was like a giant aircraft carrier that they converted to be a spaceship.
Oh, I think I remember.
Do you remember this?
Star Blazers.
I was so into
Like
it as a kid.
they localize it for North American audiences or something. Probably,
Yes,
right?
big time. Oh yeah, and that's the stuff I've been playing on the show, and I really, really like it even now because it's cheesy as hell. But I know it isn't good. But when I was a kid, I thought it was badass, and I'll watch it now because that Yamato gun thing on that front of that boat was so badass. It was so cool. So I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, kids, it's a different view of everything, and that's great. And I'm glad this exists, and I hope kids are enjoying it, and the parents aren't feeling too intimidated by it, because that can be its own challenge. Just try to keep the kid doing something other than just this during a pandemic, even harder. So my heart goes out to the parents. But like John said, there are side benefits. Like kids do, like I guarantee you this: my son is very mechanical, like really good. He's 20 now, but he's very good at like seeing a thing and saying, okay, that's how I would disassemble that, put that back together. I am convinced that his time when he was 9 years old playing Minecraft nonstop is partially responsible for his mechanical head. He's very good at that stuff and didn't show signs of it until massive amounts of Minecraft were jammed into his head. And now he can take apart anything, put it back together, has a real interest in that sort of thing. He's very structural, just looking at something, you can see how it's made. Like, I think he got it from that. And that's a very real skill, and games are great for that. So if Roblox is doing that for somebody, whatever it is, great. No complaints. Artifact going away. That was the point.
Yep.
Bye.
How did we get all the way from Artifact to Roblox? I don't know how we did it.
I don't know. I have no idea.
That's
I'm
why
not
this show
sure.
is great, Bo. That's why it's great. Just remember this, everybody.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
I'll take your word for it that it's great. I don't really know, but I'm glad you all are enjoying it very much.
People love this show, and they love it because we go places. All right. Diablo 2 Resurrected will let you import your original saves. They didn't say this on BlizzCon Online Week or whatever. They said this later, and I think it's fascinating. If you still have your old saves, your old-ass freaking PC saves from 20 years ago, they will import into Resurrected, and you can have all your stuff, which I think is first of all, I think it's kind of crazy and amazing at the same time. And I also think that it's yet another attempt at Blizzard saying, this isn't like Reforged. We're going to do a lot of really cool things with this. And we want you to know that you're not just This is not going to be another Reforged nightmare from the Warcraft 3 business. So enjoy our weird added features and functions, and I'm totally down for it. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah,
Even
it's
more
very niche,
interesting.
but neat.
yeah.
If it works with the old like trainer programs that people used to have for Diablo. Did you ever use any of those?
Oh no,
Where
I
you
never did.
could boot it up and you could be like, yeah, I want to just level myself up, and you click a button, boom, you're a higher level instantly higher level. You could give yourself loot. It was hacking tools of some kind. I don't know how I wound up with them. I don't remember much about them, but I remember being able to cheat at Diablo 2, and it was a lot of fun.
Yep. I forgot about those trainers. I never dared. I was always afraid I was going to get a virus or something weird happen. I remember feeling that way.
Turns out if you're young enough, that does not concern you, and you boldly go where no one would dare go when they were older.
Oh,
Went
yeah.
to a lot of shady sites to get a lot of things, like AOL chat room bots that would spam messages and try and kick people off of AOL chat rooms, and all sorts of cool programs like that nowadays I'm like, I would never go to these websites. What was I thinking?
Yeah, malware everywhere you turn. In fact, speaking of Minecraft and my son, he was so into it that he was doing that. He's going to these sites. It's back when it was the Java version of the game. Like that game came out in 2009, I think. Yeah, that was the first year. So he was going to all these sites and downloading these mods for it, and they were just riddled. I'm telling you right now, there's an old tower in that room right over there. Can't see it on camera. There's nothing in there near it. It's all sitting by itself in the corner. I will never plug that in, ever. Because I know that thing is just like a bag of spiders. like as soon as if I hook that up to the internet, my entire house would go, you're now being held for 1,400 Bitcoin. Please pay immediately or we'll wipe out the world. Like, that's how bad that machine was compromised because of his mods. And they were all from the mods. And every time I'd run a virus check on it, it would just pick all these mod files. Like, oh, you found a texture pack. And attached to that was the kick you in the ass freaking filter bug that shut everything down and destroyed your registry or whatever. Like all that kind of stuff. It was nightmarish back then. And it was a nice learning experience. It was like, Nick, now you understand. You got to have reputable sites. How do you find those? You have to ask around. You have to look around. Blah, blah. It's like learning time for Nick. Definitely happened. But I will not. I don't know what I'm going to do with that computer, but it feels like I've got like nuclear waste products in my house. Like, and I don't want to plug it in. I never do.
I feel like my generation was a bit more careful about things simply because we were from the era of the pop-up. And I don't know if anybody out there knows the terror that is the porny sounding pop-up that would randomly pop up if your computer was infected with something.
Yeah.
You were always terrified your parents would be in the room, and all of a sudden they just hear a ah, and you're like, I don't know what that is. I don't know why it's open. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was always very worried about what sort of viruses or issues would infect my computer. I was always very careful about that.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing that ever happened to me is I did have one thing where I just was like, some weird, like, porny looking thing took over my Internet Explorer. I don't know what that was. We did a whole system wipe when that happened to avoid getting in trouble with my parents. And then the other
it was probably
internet
your
thing.
parents, right?
Yeah, it's probably his parents.
No, because I have my own computer, and that's where I got in trouble.
That's the
all
best
time.
place to go sneak off.
Oh,
I shouldn't say stuff like that. That's kind of, but you know what I mean. It's not the main computer. I don't know.
Fair point.
Blame
If
the
you
kid.
don't know where it came from, it came from somewhere. Is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not right.
But the most trouble I ever got into in the internet growing up was Nintendo sent me a cease and desist
Whoa.
when I was like 13.
Hold on.
Maybe younger.
Let's hear this
Yeah.
story. What did you do to get a cease and desist from Nintendo?
I had a Pokemon fan site, and I was very proud of it. And one of my favorite features on the Pokemon fan site was that I would have battles of which Pokemon do you like better. And I'd put up a graphic of whichever two were fighting. So, we'll say Pikachu and Charmander, and you vote for which one you want to win the fight, right? And then the following week, I would I would do probably in Paint, because I don't know if I had Photoshop yet as a kid. I would draw a little championship wrestling belt on the Pokemon that won, and on the Pokemon that lost, I'd draw them all bloodied and cut up like they'd been in a real rough fight and lost. And I got a letter from Nintendo saying, we think you have an excellent Pokemon site and we really like it. However, these images are the licensed property of Nintendo and you can't be editing them the way you are.
Whoa.
Please cease editing our official images on posting them on your website.
Wow.
I was like, I'm a child, but I guess I'm going to listen to you because I'm scared that you found me.
Yeah, that sounds like a scary thing, but also it was a premonition of what was to come, because Nintendo now notoriously freaky about their stuff. And that we didn't know that yet. Like, it's almost like you were the test subject for their lawyering. So well done.
They're like, he did what we asked him to.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do this all the time.
Yeah, because they got real weird. As
Hearing
time
stuff
went on.
like that makes me feel like I hate that we reward Nintendo. I'm just like, every other company seems to take it in stride. And if it gets out of hand, they act on it. But don't have to go over fan sites that are doing it anyways.
I know.
It makes
To me,
it makes me want Nintendo to like eat some chud for it.
Well, here's the problem. Like, I don't know if it's all cultural, but as a company culture goes, I think Nintendo's just really, really scared of all that stuff getting tweaked around. But I remember, I got a cease and desist from Marvel Comics. Sorry, DC Comics. Now I don't remember who it was. But wherever, it was DC, because I was drawing fat Batman and fat Wonder Woman and fat Wolverine. I was drawing all these fat characters. They were just big fat versions of these guys back in like 02, 03.
I think I remember seeing them, actually.
Yeah, you've probably seen them here and there. And I got cease and desist from those companies saying, you can't do this. That idea today in a 2021 world is ridiculous. Like, fan art sells and maintains your image and your property to the point that they need you. They want you to do that. Like, we figured out the equation. It actually benefits these companies to have all of this fandom around it, including fan creation. And Nintendo has just been the slowest to figure it out. And I do think they're starting to, but they're weird, man. They're weird.
I think it gets like murky when you're, depending on what your profit's like. Cause I know like there are people who make like, I think, like Game of Thrones, like Lannister things on Etsy, and it's cute little crafts, and that stuff will get shut down. Like there is a line somewhere, I guess. I don't know where it is myself, but
yeah.
Where, if somebody owns an IP, we probably shouldn't be profiting from it. But fan stuff, it should be fine. You just post something, on your feed or on your ArtStation account. Like,
we're just still new to this, I think. I think society just hasn't gotten their head around it, because for the longest time, you didn't have the tools to do it. So fan art didn't exist. It was sketches in your own basement, and that was as good as it got. But now you can make and share and have an Etsy store and do all sorts of things with stuff. And rightly so, most of the companies have gone, okay, we get it. Unless it's like, somebody's selling a Mandalorian plush for $8 and they're selling 2 million of them, we probably should step in on that. But even in the case of smaller stores, people making, baby Yodas and selling 3 of them a month because they just have a nice little following of people that like their stitchery or whatever, they let it go.
It's just a weird thing that I don't think we can put, that in spite of all of our attempts to make rules about, we just can't quite get, because like all that Baby Yoda fandom is great. Like, like, yes, they're not getting the money, but like at the same time, if you approach things like the Third Reich trying to shut down everyone that's enthused about your stuff, that's also not a good look. Like, this kind of stuff's meant to be warm, and you want everyone to feel welcome in it. Right. So that's not a welcoming thing to do, to go around litigating people.
Right.
So,
and they benefit now from that massive amount of fandom. Even if there's a bunch of things selling without their knowledge, it's not anywhere near the benefit that they get out of just secondhand exposure constantly. Like, it's
like, I think you have to be willing to leave a little bit of money on the table. Like, let a little bit, like, even though you're within your rights to stop it, you don't have to stop it. I guess
it's like me freaking out that my art gets up on Reddit sometimes, and sometimes they'll even crop out signatures and stuff. But when it's happened, everyone freaks out. They're not giving you credit up there. It's blah, blah. I'm like, it's all right. It's okay.
And the guy who posted it might get a bit of gold. Like there's a bit of a money exchange that happens on Reddit.
It can, sure. But if you leave, I guess what I'm saying is I like your theory. Like leave a little on the table because the overall effect is your work gets further and seen by more people. There's limits, obviously, to everything. But
it's understandable to protect your work, but it's understandable for people to be enthusiastic and just not think about these things and, go forth in it with enthusiasm and not thinking about the back end or the, whatever it is.
Music's still having a real struggle with this. Like right now,
Metallica being the latest example.
Oh my god. That was so funny.
Metallica agrees to do a show, shows up to do a show, and
a live stream only show, not a actual live show
on their channel, their music, their everything, and then Twitch still throws up what was it, replacement chip tune stuff or whatever.
So that was Twitch and not Blizzard. I think everyone assumes it was Twitch.
It was
Blizzard.
Twitch. It was definitely not Blizzard.
Okay.
I think Blizzard thought they were in the good. They were. Well, yeah, because they knew they were going to come perform. Blizzard hired them to do this thing, so they're not going to shut it down. They're not going to, hey, I'm hiring you guys. Come play all your music. Oh, shit, they're playing their music.
And it wasn't like it was just muted. Like, there was also a meeting at Twitch being like, we've seen the broadcast ahead of time. There's some Metallica music. What are we going to do?
Right.
Let's throw this piece of music up. That'll go well.
Let's play something
that's what we're doing. Yep. All right. Good meeting.
From Metallica as humanly possible.
Like a bunch of people walked out of a meeting agreeing that was a good idea.
Yeah.
So there are human beings who were in a meeting who said, "This is the plan."
Well, assuming there was a meeting, I have a feeling it may have just been a.
I mean, they can't pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, Blizzard, you got some weird shit in your video. Are you allowed to stream it?"
Yeah, I don't know enough how they run things. But
can you just show me the permission slip?
I'm not blaming Twitch for this because I mean it's easy to because they're the point of contact. But it's the way the music industry is so freaking litigious about everything. They issue takedowns every 5 minutes, and most of it's computers making that decision and scouring sites.
All should have been cleared up when they're agreeing. Like, hey, Metallica, this is Blizzard here. We're gonna want to do live performance. Cool. Can you get your music guys to like sign off that we have permission? Yeah, sure. We'll fax it over to you today. Great.
Yeah.
Like they should have it. Like that would be part of the initial conversation. I'd have to imagine.
It's just effed up. It's all effed up. But the problem is
the music industry is worse than all of them. It is a.
You know what?
cluster.
Now that I say it, they might have just done that intentionally because like Twitch was sticking it to the music industry. Like, yes, here's something we clearly could play, but we're not going to do it because of all these other policies that we're jabbing at you back to embarrass you.
Bo says false flag, you guys. That's what he's saying is a false flag. That's basically
because it's easy. Like if you have permission, if you have permission to stream a thing, you get the permission, you go to the partner and say, I have permission, here's the note. Like they're not signing. There's no way this got signed without permission from the music industry.
Yeah.
There's no way Blizzard was like, yeah, let's skip that step. We'll be fine. Like that didn't happen.
It's entirely possible. I tend to not. I just don't have enough information to form an opinion for sure because I just don't know how the stuff works. But
sure, we'll let that be my tinfoil hat. But I don't think there's a lot of tin in that. It's mostly foil.
That's a good point. I don't know. Like some people in the chat mentioned this, and I would say too. Like in some weird way, it's kind of just desserts a little bit for Metallica, who was. In the Napster days, they were railing against the idea that music could be found.
Confused human beings like the rest of us trying to deal with.
They were, but now they're kind of getting theirs a little bit by having chip tunes over them going, and they were rocking, dude, just like playing. I don't know, Master of Puppets as loud as they could, and this stuff's going. Beep, 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 boop, boop, beep, boop. It was the stupidest freaking thing.
Yeah, I think that was a false flag.
Yeah. Well,
I'm like pretty convinced of it actually at this point. I just don't.
All right, that's official. False flag, tinfoil hat, not a lot of tin or foil. That's it for the news. There's not a lot going on, but those are pretty major, with the exception of the weird Diablo thing. But hey, it got us talking about Roblox, or Artifact did. So there you go. All right, now this. Games we're playing. So we got to talk about the crack of the day in the video game business. It's called Hero Loop, and damn it, it cannot get its claws out of me. I'm really hooked on this game, have been since day one, and I can't stop playing it. If you haven't heard about it, then you probably aren't a PC gamer or haven't heard, or how you haven't heard, I don't know. It seems like it's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. It's a hard game to describe. Basically, you do loops around a random map. and kill creatures kind of automatically. They drop loot. You equip that loot and try to beat more creatures, make more loops around the map. As you do that, more stuff spawns. You help that along by spawning your own stuff like spiders or vampires or whatever you decide, because you get these cards that they poop out. You build up land cards around the world that help you give bonuses, benefits, and also some negatives depending on how you do it. And that's a really basic way of saying it. It is one of the most addicting damn effing things I've ever had my hands on, and I absolutely love it. Thoughts, feelings? Yeah. We're all playing it.
One minor correction. It's called Loop Hero.
What'd I say? Hero Loop?
Yep.
I do that every time. That's not the first time.
It's kind of crazy how it's hard to put it the other way.
I do that all the time.
I wrote Loop Hero, and then I saw you wrote Hero Loop, and I went, oh, did I write it wrong? And I went and double checked because I 100% believed that it was called Hero Loop as well.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know why, but
it's got a weird name. I wouldn't say a bad name, but it's got a weird name.
It's a weird name. Because you do loop,
this
and you are
awesome.
Yeah.
This game's so good.
Yeah.
And I was looking prior to my son being born. I was looking for the perfect baby game, and I think I wound up finding it in this game, because this game is extremely passive. And there's even additional steps you can do to make it more passive if you want. And it has been perfect for, all right, I'm going to run this, but I know he's probably going to cry in a minute, so we'll just let it go. Oh, I got to go take care of baby. Okay, I can come back and I can check in and do the things I need to do and get back to it. But it has been the perfect game experience for me, dealing with baby and playing a game at the same time. And I'm also extremely hooked on it. The vibe, the soundtrack sounds like it's from freaking Wizards and Warriors on the original NES. It just sounds cool. It looks very basic, like its art style. I saw it and I was like, I love it. Or do I hate it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I definitely feel a way about it.
Yeah. I'm with you. It feels deliberate, so it's not like I think that it's randomly hard to describe. Let me put it this way: if you were really into like the Amiga era of computer graphics, that's what this is. That this is stripped right from that. I wouldn't even, like, some have said, oh, it's like 8-bit Nintendo. In some ways, yes, but for the most part, this is like what PCs used to do. Lots of dithering and the way you created shading was a little more high resolution than you'd get on a console. To me, this is just ripped right out of an era of PC and specifically Amiga era gaming that they've decided to go with. And I'm with you. I'm like, I don't hate it and I don't love it, but now that I've tasted of the meat underneath this frosting, the meat is so good that I don't care anymore. I just don't care.
Yep.
The gameplay is so good.
It doesn't need to look good. It needs to look exactly how it looks, because this game is so cool. And one of the things I like about it was a little bit frustrating at first, but I think overall is a smart decision. I don't think this game gives you enough information to properly get started. The tutorial's a little sparse, and at first I was a little annoyed by it because I got into the main game and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. What am I doing? And why did this do this? Why is this a bigger mountain now? Yep. Why is there now goblins? What's going on with all this stuff?
Yeah.
And it was a lot to take in. It still is. Like, I get back to the base camp building aspect of it, which they do almost no time tutorializing.
Yeah, you have to.
And I'm still like, what does this do? I unlock a table and a saw?
Yeah.
What does that mean? But it's been kind of fun to discover, and I think it teaches you enough to get you in, and then just say, don't worry about it. Just discover the rest on your own and have a good time and have fun with it.
You mentioned the mountains, the bigger mountains thing. That's an example of me having discoverable gameplay. I just happened to make a grid of 9 mountains, not knowing that it did anything. I just did it, and it created a larger mountain and then crapped out a ton of resources to take back. And I didn't know it would do that. Like, that was new, and you just kind of run into these things, like you don't.
That's been the nice part about this game, is that it's not really in an established genre. Like, it's a pastiche of some of them, so isn't like there's a temptation to go look up how to do things because it's so new and we're playing so close to the launch of it. It's so new for a lot of people that the discoverability is very pleasurable.
Yeah. That's I agree with that. Also finding out, what buffs really are worth it, or like finding out.
This is what
sorry. No, you're good. I was just going to say, finding out for yourself that the lightning towers are shit unless you're playing the new third class. You have to find that out on your own. Like you have to experience like the random RNG of getting your ass kicked by a thing that's going to randomly target 2 creatures. And if it's just you fighting another creature, you're always going to be one of those, and you're going to take hits every time. And you're like, you know what? Don't want that card in my deck. But then you find out later, well, when it's me and all my minions fighting for me as the Necromancer, then that's a very powerful tool to have because it rarely hits you. And even when it does, you have shield. So like there's all this stuff to learn that John's right. They don't hand you on a platter. You just got to play the damn thing. And it's a pleasure to play it. So it's not a problem. Like I love it.
Yeah. That's the big thing is sometimes learning these things isn't fun if you aren't enjoying the game that much, but the game happens to, I don't know, just tickle the dopamine reward center. Is always something new you're collecting or trying to do, or something unexpected occurring that is delightful. Yeah. I will say the graphics, definitely, if you're not a fan of the graphics, like fair enough. I talked a lot about that last week. How it looked like trash. And I was having a hard time buying it, but the hype was palpable.
Yeah.
But this makes me think this is probably something like what we can expect with that new game mode for Hearthstone. Like Mercenaries is not like a card building kind of thing. It'll involve cards in some way, but it's literally not it's not a slay the spire, play your deck kind of deal. So it's left a lot of people scratching their heads, and I'm like, oh, it's probably an auto battler like this. Like you're a mercenary, you form a warband, or you make a party of things, and they auto fight other things, and then you level them up. Mm-hmm. Except I think Loop Hero is going to turn out to be better because they're not constrained by the Hearthstone platform or whatever that's got to look like. This is an entirely unique thing. Yeah. Like that. This game makes me think like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Maybe but I would happily take a much more graphically appetizing version of this game overall, I think.
Well, someone's gonna do.
I'm not gonna complain.
That's gonna happen. Yeah. Like at some point, look at the Slay the Spire.
It's being made right now. Someone's
someone's doing it. And that's
Roblox is doing it. They're like, oh shit, Loop Hero's good.
Oh my lord, I hope not. But like somebody somewhere is going, it'd be cool. Like Slay the Spire. Like that thing inspired a ton of deck builders, right? Like just came out. They still are. They're just rolling out every other week. There's a new deck builder that's trying to compete with that or add something to the twist. And a lot of the cases, what they do better than that game is they look better, like a hell of a lot better, because Slay the Spire looks like a-hole. It's just an ugly game. And this I like see
this game better than Slay the Spire.
Oh yeah, I do too. But my point is, like, you could see somebody take this exact formula, but the world is like an isometric Diablo looking 3D, little mini 3D above the head sort of thing. And every interaction you see happening here looks more like a modern game, but plays the same. I could see that happening. Like someone's going to do that. This thing's huge though. 500,000 copies sold in a week. It's a monster success.
And the fun thing about the thing that I always like is like these huge successes is looking at their download size. This is like 100 meg game. Like it's a nothing burger.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh man, I can make 100 meg game. Like it's not a lot of megs. Like I'm just like, look at this game. Like it's kind of insane. Where you're just like, in 2021, with all the tools that are available for people to develop games, I'm like, this can't be as hard as it was back in the older days to try and put something like.
Well,
this
that's
together.
Funny you say that because this is
pretty inspiring.
Yeah, the engine here is Game Maker, which is like that 2D.
Is it a Game Maker engine game?
Oh yeah. So at the beginning, you get that in the credits if you don't skip it. So it's a Game Maker game. It's published by Devolver Digital is a big indie publisher, so they're not strangers to very cool indie 2D games, but the fact that this is made in a very, very accessible public tool tells you could make it.
Some Russian studio though. Like the developers are actually these Russian guys. It's not Devolver. Like I think it's
Devolver published it, but it's
published it, but it's the studios. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
For all I know, this is like two guys. You've told me one guy made this game. I mean, one guy made Banish. So if one guy made this game, I'd believe.
Yeah.
I believe it. Maybe
I started playing
music.
I started playing Nebuchadnezzar, which is like a Remember those Caesar games and like Pharaoh and those things? I love those games.
Oh yeah, how is that? 'Cause
I like
love
it a
those
lot.
games.
The next update's the one you want to get in on because they don't it's not early access, like it's out, but right now it's just a bunch of campaign stuff and scenarios. They don't have the sandbox mode in, which is where my butter gets bread in those kind of games.
Oh
Or
yeah,
my butter gets bread.
That's all I played.
My bread gets butter.
Your
Is what I
butter
mean to
gets
say.
bread.
That's coming in the next update, and it's 2 dudes, and it looks way better than 2 dudes. Like it feels like one of those games. It feels like complex, cool systems. A lot of focus on, producing the right farms, feeding the right people, upgrading the house, and like all the stuff that you like about those games. And I love that we live in a time where basically people can do what Bo just said. Just, I want to make a game. What is it? Well, I don't need much, just like 2D and a little bit of art. Okay, cool. Game makers for you. Go for it. And now you've got the biggest hit on Steam in the last week. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Love to see it, especially because again, Game Maker looks like not a great platform, but then you're like, oh, games get published on this and make lots of money. It's crazy.
I mean, really, it's a structure. It's a really well-made structure for building out, a more simple. It's not like, Unity and Unreal. They need 3D stuff, and it's just a different approach.
No, it's like 2D goodness stuff, like just your bitmaps and collision detection and no, it's
not all just bad JRPGs made by 15-year-olds. It can be more.
Yeah, it's not RPG Maker 20. Like there's been like 20 versions of RPG Maker, and it's all just it's Final Fantasy knockoffs. Like I think maybe there was one title I heard of that was sold on Steam that did okay, but I don't want to play that.
No.
Nobody. I feel like nobody wants to.
Oh, that reminds me. Okay, you guys either have to walk me away from this edge or tell me justify me doing it. I got a key from a developer for a game called I got to find it because I don't want to screw up the name.
This better not be that picture you posted the other day in Slack.
No, not that. That was
because I think I found that game on Steam, by the way.
Oh, is that a game? I didn't know it was a game.
Well, there's an RPG game that's full of tiger people that are straight up having like hardcore sex.
Oh.
I don't think that's the game, but it looked a lot like what you were showing me, except it's actually being sold. It's a real game on Steam, and I was like, you can't show this on Steam. Like, it was pretty bad, actually.
All right, so this one may sound like one of those, although it's this 3D horror game, but it's called Lust from Beyond.
Oh, it sounds like it's in the same wheelhouse then.
It says
Lust from Beyond sounds like a sex video game.
Here's what it says. Lust from Beyond is a psychological horror with occult and erotic horror game with occult and erotic themes. The game creators, let's see, they made Lust for Darkness. I guess this is a sequel to that. The game that proves it's possible to create a liaison of erotica and horror together. Now, thanks to the experience gained in the previous production, they are returning with Lust from Beyond the door to the realistic world of desire, fascination, and fear.
You got a key
I'm
for
looking
this?
at images for this, Scott. You 100% should play this and report back.
I got the key. I don't know if I should play it or not. I mean,
like the developers are like, hey, play this game. If you talk about it on your gaming show, cool.
I don't know how they heard of me. They just sent a key. It says, hey.
They clearly don't listen to the show because they would know you would not, we're not exactly the biggest fans of this genre of gaming.
I don't think you're probably allowed to stream this game, but God, I wish you would stream this game because I think your reactions to this game would be.
He doesn't have to stream it on Twitch. He can stream it on, Pornhub or something like that. Like,
ew.
Oh, there you go, Scott. Just make a Pornhub account and stream it there.
Can you do that? They let you stream on Pornhub? Is that real?
I mean, it's like the Twitch, but for adult shit.
Well, I assume so, but I didn't know you could.
I assume I would have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I've heard tell that streaming is a thing on this.
All
website.
I'm seeing, I'm searching for it, and all the images I see are just like horror games. Like, where is it bad? Oh, I guess I can turn off.
Yeah, I'm putting one in Discord. Definitely do not show it to the.
What's it called? Stream from Beyond.
This will get you in trouble.
Lust from Beyond. Yeah. Paste it in there, and we'll have a look.
Yeah, it looks like I'm just looking at a ghoul orgy right now.
I don't even see that. I just see scary rooms and a hallway and a.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's like a bunch of.
Definitely don't share this with the stream. It's too much.
Okay, I'm
this
pulling it up.
This is what I'm seeing.
What's happening there? Those people are full on doing it.
Yeah, but one of them has 2 heads.
Yeah, that guy's got 2 heads, and we don't mean, well, he has 3, I guess.
That's like Zaphod Box.
Yeah, that looks like a game that wants me to have purient experiences. Okay, well, Lust from Beyond. It's in my.
Oh man, there's
collection.
on the Steam page. There's a close up of that 2-headed guy, and yeah, just the face design of it looks, it's scary. I definitely feel scared looking at the faces.
All right, the reviews.
I definitely don't recommend this. It's not a. Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Listen to this.
I think you should play it, Scott.
I can't play it, and I'm not. If I did,
there's
I'm not
like
streaming it.
there's like a cut up person with a machine and a sexual. Like it's not. This is not what you want to be doing. Unless it's your jam.
It's not my jam. I don't like that sort of stuff. Let's see. Listen to this. Exploring a graphically advanced environment full of interactive items. Are they talking about what I think they're talking about? Because it sounds like this game just wants me to watch people doing it. That's what that sounds like.
A chicken with a pulley in the middle of it? I don't know what that means.
A chicken with a pulley in the middle of it? What is that? What does that mean?
As an old reference to The Secret of Monkey Island. It was a item from the Monkey Island franchise. So a rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle.
All right. Yes, Bo.
So can I ask, is it Lust from Beyond? What's it called?
Lust from Beyond. It's on Steam.
Okay, so it's out now.
Yeah,
it's on sale now. So there's some Steam reviews. Let me just read the first one I see here.
Okay.
Posted March 11th, so today,
All right.
From White Line, he says, "Just play it. It's awesome."
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Out of a Valen Vane says, out of a yes or a no, it's a yes. But if I'm honest with you, only just 7 out of 10.
Oh.
So hey, that's pretty good.
Oh, he walked it back. He was like, I like the boobs, but honestly, the game could be
Next one is, wow, great game. I've never played something like this.
How come I
These are
search
fake
Steam?
reviews.
I search Steam and it doesn't show this.
Because you turned it off. You turned off the ability to see it.
Yeah, if you don't see the adult, you have the adult.
And now
stuff
we're talking about it, which is going to get you to turn it back on, and then you're going to see something that you don't want to see, and you're going to be like, why am I seeing this again?
Yeah, then I'll complain on the show again.
So the thing is, I'm only seeing positive reviews. This is kind of crazy.
Is it saying it's a good horror game? Like a decent, like...
No, they're saying it's a good adult game.
Oh, well then, F that. I don't want to play.
There's only 63 reviews. I'm not seeing a down.
This game is horror erotica done right. It's not just yet another press F to orgasm porn game. It's a full-blown product that's a huge improvement over original title.
Why F?
There's this whole otherworldly horror thing, and the porn around it feels uncanny and cringe, and yet enticing at the same time. It's a hard trick to pull, especially today when everyone is accustomed to porn. I also love how eroticism isn't main point of the gameplay, but still a strong backdrop for a great narrative.
Okay. Put that guy on the FBI list of some sort, because I don't like the way he talks. He's freaking
Hold on. I want to just read, because it's a long review. I don't want to read the whole thing, but I want to read his pros and cons. Pros. Horror erotica done right. Atmosphere, visuals, and audio. Detail of the world. Story. Cons. Human skin material looks like wax. At times, unintuitive as how to proceed.
With the skin wax or just the game in general, I guess is what he means.
This is the game in general.
Oh, man, I should have played this while you were doing it. Actually, you know what? Let's do it. We're going to do one.
Let's do a Dear Martha. I'll read a review for this game as Dear Martha.
All right,
Hold
here
on,
it
let me
comes.
find something.
Find one. You can tell me when you got one, and then we'll get a Dear Martha out here.
Okay, I got one. We'll read this review from Barkin.
All right, here we go.
My dearest Martha, today I'd like to tell you about a video game called Lust for... Wait, what was it?
Beyond.
Lust from Beyond.
Yeah.
Wow, great game. I've never played something like this. I'm not a fan of horror games. I find them cheesy and linear, but I really enjoyed my time with this title. I would recommend this to anybody who likes adult content and games. It's not just another FAP game. It's immersive and fun. These devs put in a lot of great work behind this title, and it shows. Pick it up now. Yours truly, Barkin.
Wow. It's not just
another fat game.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty freaking funny.
You need to clip that and keep that as a thing.
We
It's
need
not
to
just
do
another
more.
fat game.
This needs to be the way that Dear Martha's go in the future for recorded ones. We need to find really
Yeah.
bad Steam reviews.
Well, we'll do a weekly feature. We'll read a Steam review as a Dear
Okay.
Martha.
And your job is so we're going to divvy up the job. I got the sound file ready to go. Your job is to find a review you want to read. Done. We got a segment. We're good.
Got it.
Okay.
We'll
we're
start
in.
it next week.
All right. Now that you're a father, this is the perfect transition. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What
don't
else?
play that game.
Hero Loop's amazing. Or Loop Hero, sorry. Loop Hero? Loop Hero
Yeah,
is amazing.
Loop Hero.
Play it. It's amazing. It's great. I started playing Horizon Zero Dawn for the PC, and the reason I did this is because I was hankering for some open world, but also I got there was like a flash sale on that game on some site. They gave you a Steam key for like $20, $24, whatever it was. And I did it because I was like, well, that is cheap. I've no longer feel like I'm paying for that game twice because I already own it on PS4. I'll just feel good about this low price. And they'd already patched some of the early issues I'd heard about it from performance standpoint and that sort of thing. So time to dive back into Horizon Zero Dawn. And man, I forgot how much I freaking love that game. That game is amazing. Maybe one of my top 4 favorite open world games. I just love it. And I'm further than I even got on the PlayStation already. I've been playing it a lot. So I'm going to keep hacking away at that, and I'm really enjoying it. It's great. It's just great.
It's super good. I haven't gotten to play the PC version. I kind of did the same thing. I bought it. There were a lot of issues. I said, okay, I'll come back to it, and I just haven't yet.
Yeah.
But I love Horizon Zero Dawn. It's
so
super good.
It's so good. There's so much about it I love. And it retains a little open world jank, which I also love. Weirdly. I like it when I walk into town and there's a super serious moment happening, and for some reason the character that's speaking's cape is all effed up and like sticking up straight to the ceiling, and that I don't even call that a bug. It is, but I love it. I love when that shit happens in open world games. It does in all the good ones, and that game's no different. But the environments are amazing. I forgot that game is set where I live. Like literally there's a huge swath of Utah in there, including Salt Lake City, and you find some recordings and artifacts that like are all referential to the city. There's parts of southern Utah represented in there. It's way compressed. Like you literally go from like Salt Lake, go around the corner, and now you're suddenly in like St. George area, which makes no sense at all. That's a 5-hour drive. So there's no way I'm running down there that fast, but I like that. It's just kind of a fun connection there. I like the environments. I like the characters. I think the story's really strong. The acting's great. And then even when it isn't, it's delightfully cheeseball. It's just great. And the number one thing, obviously, is the creature designs, like the machine creature stuff, and fighting those is so awesome. It is so good. Combat, stealth, all of it feels great. I'm going to keep hacking away at that thing because I'm having a great time with it. Played a little bit of the WoW patch this week. Nothing to get too excited about. Although they gave you the big tree, so John, maybe this will draw you back in. You can you can ride around on your tree. Now, how you feel about that? You want to ride a tree?
Nope.
No, that's not.
I think I voted for the book.
You voted for the book. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Well, they gave you the tree. It's currently in winter form because it changes with the seasons, and you're riding around on a big tree, and it's okay. That's about all I have to say about that. I'm struggling to get into Valheim. I keep poking in and not enjoying myself, and I don't know why. I know that game is a bona fide monster hit, and everyone loves it as much as they say they do. I don't know why. Because it's one of those games, and I don't like survival games generally speaking, even though this does a lot of things right. I know it does. It's just I have a really hard time playing very long, and I apologize to the universe, okay? I still have it. It's on my hard drive. I'll keep checking in. It's an early access. Who knows? By the time it comes out, maybe it grabs me in the way it's grabbing all of you. But right now, it's just not holding me.
You're further than me. I heard, we talked in our Slack about like, hey, is this a game we're interested in? Is this something we're going to get into? And everybody was feeling kind of positive about it. And I went, this isn't going to be the one.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think people are going to get it. I don't believe. And I didn't buy the game. So I don't even own it yet. So you're further along than me.
Well,
because I am just watching and waiting from the wings.
It does, in theory, seem like a thing that like us and Kyle, the three of us plus Kyle, could get in and just have the time of our lives. I think. But then I think, or we could be dwarves in space shooting worms off the ceiling. Like like, I don't know whether, to me, it isn't compelling me because, again, it's a genre I just don't feel like I want to coat myself in its juice, if that makes any sense. Boy, I really got to play Beyond Lust or whatever it's called.
That's how you get ready for that game. Coat yourself in juice.
Yeah, coat myself with some juice. Anyway, let's talk about Baby Loop Hero. Just kidding, that's not really a game, but it's a joke because you're busy with the loop of the baby life, right? Making rounds.
It's basically, that's what the baby is right now. It's like, okay, well, this part of the loop I sleep, this part of the loop I change a diaper. Mm-hmm. But through the entire thing, I play Loop Hero. So that's
I love that.
That's all part of the
little
process.
loopception going on here. Yeah. You got your RL loop and you got your video game loop.
There you go. Last
My
Friday,
life is nothing but loops at the moment.
Last Friday, Bo was still playing a ton of Hearthstone. You were kind of drug in, but it sounds like Loop Hero took you over for the week.
Yeah, I mean, Loop Hero is also pretty passive to play, and well, yeah, I mean, we all got hit with the bug. Like, I just think it's like I was kind of playing it at first, like, okay, what's this? And then you kind of get sucked into it. You know, like the improving and building on your guy and progressing. So they did a good job with the pacing.
Yeah,
sure.
you
Can I ask what class does everybody play?
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. So I like all three for different reasons, but I feel like if you want to just get in and have a game and not stress around too much, you just play that warrior. It's not that he's easy, it's just he's standard. I like the rogue, except I feel like it's so fiddly with armor when I get to the end of each loop that because what he does, just for the listeners to understand this, instead of getting loot drops as you go around your loop and have these fights and then checking that loot and replacing it while you go, you do it all at once because the rogue collects trophies from all the kills, and then those trophies are turned in for loot when you get back to camp, and so suddenly your loot bag goes blah, 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 and fills up with loot. Then you kind of like, all right, hover over this. Okay, is that better? I don't know. And I feel like I don't like sitting there for too long doing that. So that depends on the mood I'm in, because the run itself is a little more combat focused and less worried about loot. But I also find myself going, oh, let me check. Oh, that's right. There's no new loot until I get to camp. So I have a love-hate with that thing. DPS is great, a little squishy, like you'd expect with a class like that. The Necromancer, though, I think I like a little more. It's funny. It's just like RPGs for me. I like casters and I like tanks, or not tanks, but like sword dudes. And so those are the two I generally land on. My biggest problem with the Necromancer is if your bubble that you have, your shield, your mage shield that you have as a default, if that gets eaten down and you get into a bad situation with like multiple spiders and a couple of thieves or whatever, you're dead. Because as soon as the bubble leaves, zip, zap, zoop, you're dead. And you may not have had enough time to build up like the stuff you need to have better skeletons and the ones that are stronger and get the tank guy out and all that stuff. So I feel like that one can turn on a dime more often and you lose your crap as a result. But I guess that's by design, because it makes that class a little bit more, I don't know, a little scarier to play or whatever. But I think as a default, I'm like, I'll do warrior. If I had anything to add to this game, and I kind of wish they would do it, maybe they are, maybe make some graphical changes depending on what gear you're wearing, and just generally, like if I got this kind of sword, show that. If I got this kind of helmet on, show that, or not helmet or whatever, like whatever I'm wearing, have it kind of show some of that in there. Right now, it just looks like the same dude all the time. It doesn't matter what gear you have. I think that'd just be a nice touch. Just kind of stick that in there. But again, given those visuals, it probably isn't a big deal. But yeah, what do you lean toward? I mean, I assumed you'd want to be rogue all day because that's who you like. But
yeah, the rogue really fits my play style, especially again if I'm being distracted. It's nice to not have to. I can't walk away as the warrior, because what if that really awesome piece of gear drops while I'm going around the loop? With the rogue, I know I'm not going to get any gear. So as long as I'm not really looking for a card to pop up, I can click. I have the game set to auto pause as soon as the loop completes. So it gets back to town, collect my loot, sit down, look at it, go, all right, this. All right, start the loop again, and I can walk away if I need to. So I actually really like the way the rogue plays. I also prefer the evasion style of gameplay. So that's the build I've been going, is heavy evasion. You can get up to 75% on evasion,
Oh my gosh.
which is insane.
Yeah.
Especially because if you unlock, by default, each class has 4 inventory slots. But you can unlock a card that will give you a 5th inventory slot. And for the rogue, it's necklaces, which is what the necromancer gets, that gives them magic armor.
Yeah.
So you basically get to play the rogue, but with that magic shield armor as well.
Oh.
And when you're dodging 75% of the attacks coming at you, and then the 25% that do get through are hitting a magical shield, you just feel invincible. You're just like, okay, fill as many enemies in this space as humanly possible. I can take it. It's fine. And
is that how you're killing bosses? You're killing bosses that way.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Although I will say, like, some bosses are stronger to some builds than others. So the first boss has a very slow but high damage attack. And as a result, evasion works great on the first boss because he can't hit you and it wastes a lot of time. For the second boss, you want to go with attack speed because the second boss has a shield, and 20% of the time that you strike, there's a chance you're going to hit a shield and not the boss. So evasion doesn't really matter so much. You need to be attacking quick enough to break the shield to be able to do damage to the main boss, because those shields replenish itself.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good variety in the bosses where it's like not just one build will always work, although that evasion build's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, unsurprisingly, I like the rogue.
Not shocked at all to hear that. Bo, what's your preferred class? Do you have one?
I don't have a preferred one because I feel like they're all puzzles to solve kind of in this game. But I played Necromancer the most.
Yeah, I like that.
And
one.
I beat that first boss with Necromancer because if he's slow and hits hard, so if he hits like one of my tank, like if summon quality's high and I'm summoning lots of skeletons, I'm not getting hit. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And I think I really farmed a lot before defeating the first boss because I was able to upgrade to get the attack speed. And increasing attack speed on the summoner is good because it just means you're summoning faster.
Yeah, which is the key.
Because you can get up to like 100% attack speed increase.
Because if they're one or two shotting your minions, you need that attack speed to get those guys up sooner, or they're going to just chew your bubble down.
Yeah, and if they die, they heal you, so you get, them dying is not a big deal. You just keep summoning them. You don't really want to be hitting things with your dinky knife anyways. So it's just each one of them's kind of this puzzle.
Yeah.
And like as John says, sometimes you unlock slots or unlock perks. Like the warrior got really good when you get retaliation damage.
Yeah.
Like the warrior is what you start with, and it's tough going. Then all of a sudden you get retaliation damage, and then everything hitting you is just getting the damage back to them, and it makes them so much easier to play. Like so,
yeah.
Some stuff is just a matter of waiting for unlocks. I think
it's pretty cool if you basically focus on regen with the warrior. I think that's your primary spec to focus on. I think John's right about, at least for the first boss. So first boss encounters, I'd go regen with him as the spec you're looking for the most. And you're going to get this. You don't always get what you want, so you got to deal with whatever you get with drops and stuff, and that's part of the fun. But the rogue evasion, and then like you said, hit or not hit, but what am I trying to say? Hit rate, speed.
Yeah, attack speed.
Attack speed.
Lots of skeletons. Just like increase that. Well, skeleton level is really important because that's your damage output. So you want to, and then skeleton quality.
Yeah, and
then number of skeletons.
Yeah, it's really cool. And today, when they announced their sales of 500,000 copies in the first week, they also mentioned they've got a big bunch of updates planned, and some of that includes new cards, new card types, new classes,
cool
other stuff. So they're clearly taking this as a chance to keep going, and I'm excited to see what happens. So, real quick answer for the chat. The P Squared asked, "Does anyone know if Shipbreaker has done their reset yet? I'm waiting until after." No, they haven't. I check on it every damn day. I'm waiting for the reset also because I want to play that game really bad. I'm itching for it, but I can't justify it with the reset until the reset's done. So once that's done, I'm back in and we're good, but no word yet. It's supposed to be soon. So whatever soon means. Anyway, that's what we did. We did a lot of looping, a lot of heroin, and just a little bit of Aloy in my life. All right. Now this.
That's a good question.
Quick email. talktothecore@gmail.com is our email address. We got an email here from Sam, who says, "Hey guys, could you guys do a short review of Inquisitor Martyr and give your feedback?" Oh, luckily, I've played that game. I have been playing it on and off since launch. It had a rough start, but the devs have done a great job with making the game better. The art and the lore in the game are spot on, as in most of the game's release. I feel like most of the games released over the past few years have missed the mark. Dawn of War 3, it's talking about the 40K games. Dawn of War 3, I'm a massive Warhammer 40K fan. I've not played the tabletop. The first game I played in 40K was a game called Space Marine. Oh, we know what Space Marine was. That game was fantastic. Freaking, oh, that was such a good... I played that recently. I love that game. Anyway, I've read up on the Mechanarium and the Horus Heresy series and a few other books of the Gaunt's Ghosts. I really enjoy the podcast, so glad to have a place to catch up on the latest gaming world. Regards, Sam. He says, for the Emperor at the end. Absolutely. So I'm the same as you, dude. I never played any tabletop 40K. I've always been intrigued by it, but I've never touched it. But I love the games. Every time a new one comes out, good or bad, I try to pick it up. I really like a lot of them. Some of them are junk. There are plenty that are great. And I think that Martyr's very good. It's basically Diablo-ish. I like it with a controller, better with mouse and keyboard. And they did a great job of making things better. The loot's better. Just the way the game plays is better. It's awesome. So thumbs up from me on that game. I don't think either of you have played it, but Inquisitor Martyr is very cool. Watch for it on sale. It's like a Diablo in the 40K universe is the best way I can explain it.
Oh, yeah. I've always been curious about that.
Yeah. I like it a lot. Yeah. It got real good after launch. It launched rough, though. Like, couldn't play it for a while. Horrible lag issues. Just issues. Graphic issues. They had all this stuff. But they fixed all that. It runs great now, and it's absolutely worth playing. And I think the reviews reflect that. There's a bunch of those, though. A bunch of 40K games I highly recommend. We're all looking very much forward to the follow-up to Vermintide, but it's called Darktide, right?
Darktide. Yeah.
Darktide coming out on Game Pass in not very long. This year, I think. Maybe. Anyway, love that stuff. Love it all. There's anything to do with 40K. Freaking Space Marine is so great. Oh my gosh. Giant Space Marines calling each other Ezekiel and taking down space orcs with a K.
Have you seen the DACA Force?
No. What's DACA Force?
DACA Squadron. Warhammer 40K DACA Squadron. You play as the flyboys, the orc flyboys in it's an airplane shoot. Like you fly around in a plane.
What?
Look at this in Steam.
Look at this.
I was wondering if because you try a lot of this stuff, and I remember I wishlisted because I'm like, I don't know, like. This seems like right up your alley for something that you're just gonna like. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna try it. If it's good, great. If not, it's still Warhammer 40K. So you play as orcs.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, this is out.
It's called DACA Squadron.
It's out. It's out now.
Like it just looks like a Star Fox kind of deal, but you're a Warhammer.
This looks cool. I like the look of this a lot.
This looks great. That looks like Orgrimmar. That's funny. Well, everything
it's
in
really
Warcraft's based on
this was completely not advertised. Like it's just launched, I guess, on Steam, and that's the only place I've ever seen or heard of it.
Oh, look at
and
this.
It's 19th February 2021. It's been out a month.
Oh my gosh, the review for it, the first review is written in orc.
Yeah, it's all orcish.
So bros, lots of bits and gubbins to stick on your jets. Proper orky headbanging soundtrack. Pretty levels. Up to 60 get multi-trupping. Cons. Too many escort missions. Levels too small. Music loops too short. Not enough DACA.
I'm in, dude. Release date February 11th or 18th. Yeah, so it's been out a bit. I've never. I mean, these games aren't normally from the orc point of view, but
I don't know how good it is. There's only been like I'm not that. I mean, the next one I hate reviews. Sometimes they just turn you off. It's like theme good, actual gameplay unpleasant.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I love this stuff. Like,
but it's just that there's an orc game. Like they're always the Space Marines, and I was like, oh, here's a game centered on something different. That seems awesome.
I'm less interested in proper Warhammer, not proper Warhammer, but fantasy Warhammer, and I'm far more stoked when it's a 40K game.
Age of Sigmar Warhammer.
Yeah. Well, the Age of Sigmar is fine, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like I'm just playing kind of a Warcraft.
Fantasy.
Yeah. It's hard to explain, but whenever somebody says, "Oh, there's this new 40K game," I immediately turn my attention to it. And I didn't know this was coming out, so thank you, Bo.
Yeah, I think the thing about 40K, what makes it special, is the grimdark religiosity of the setting. Because usually you get those future settings, but religion's not really there. But that's very
right. They got tech
very
priests,
crusader, evocative of. Even though it's not Christianity, there's just Christ imagery kind of things like that. It's
their ships are like big cathedrals in space, and they're the tech priests are they're weird because they augment themselves till there's no humanity left, but they do it all in service of the God Emperor and what do they call it? Not tech Messiah, Omni Messiah.
Omnibus.
I love it, dude. I love it. I love that kind of bullshit. It's so good. And nothing's good in that world. Everything's shit. The planets are blown to shit. It's all that's left is honor and implants. That's the world, man. That's great. Anyway, honor and implants might be today's title. I'm going to write that down.
But they live in this technologically marvelous place where they can travel the universe,
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas
in giant
when
floating
you're watching
castles.
Neil deGrasse Tyson on Cosmos, he's like, it's going to be great. And then you fast forward to the actual future, and it's like it's a medieval Dark Ages hellhole across the entire galaxy.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Funny.
I love it. I hope they do a crossover with Shipbreaker and let me tear apart some cool space orc ships. That'd be cool. All right, that's your email, and you can send us more at talktothecore@gmail.com. You can find the show at frogpants.com/core, and as always, you can support us. We need your support. Yeah, that's right. The show continues to grow and thrive because of you and your contributions over at patreon.com/core show. We're at CorePod on Twitter. John_Jagger, Scott Johnson, Bo Schwartz. You can find us all there. And I think that's going to do it. Before we leave, John, any father advice that you've learned over the last 2 weeks that you want to share with the listeners?
Oh, fatherly advice. Smell the baby's forehead.
It's amazing.
They're not lying. It smells really good.
Yeah.
It's weird. There's all these things that I've discovered that are either true or false that people tell you about fatherhood.
Yeah.
Babies smelling great is a weird truth about babies.
Yep.
It's really the strangest thing in the world.
Yep. You wish it would have stayed through our adulthoods and we all smelled that great. We don't, but babies smell great until they poo. But
yeah,
when they're not pooing.
I haven't smelled my forehead. Maybe it's good. No one's really giving feedback.
You let me know how that goes. If you find a way to do that, we'll all try it. I just don't know how you would smell your own forehead.
Pay somebody on Craigslist to do it.
There you go. Greg, do you say Greg's List? Because that's better than Craigslist.
Yes, Greg's List. Sorry, I'm still watching Greg on the Oblivion stream. It's still up. Maybe I got confused.
Greg's List is my favorite knockoff Craigslist idea. I've never heard that before. That's really funny.
It's all Canadian right. Craigslist.
Made my whole day. Bo, any final
thoughts?
Oh,
this one's great. This is where Greg gets mad.
Oh, well, that's something to see.
He's angry.
Yeah, they want.
Hang on, we got to end the show. I need to concentrate.
Oh yeah,
we can watch Oblivion stream later. I don't have anything.
Right. You don't have anything.
Don't make my heart bleed.
All right, don't do that. All right, well done, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll be back next time with another episode. Thank you for listening, watching. We'll see you then. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com. I like ending the show with that.